Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. It's a nice day today, so I thought I'd do a walkie-talkie, as my friend Paz calls them. Sorry for copying you, Paz, but it sounds great. Anyway, those of us that are old enough, those of us with memories that go back that far, remember how we've been governed over the last, well, couple of generations at least, let's face it. I represent one of them, nearly 50 years. And the calibre of people that we've had governing us, particularly over recent times, has been nothing short of shocking. You get a load of short-term, shoddy decisions which those of us in the general public, those of us with half a brain cell, realise is going to come back and bite everybody on the backside sooner or later. And it just builds up and builds up and builds up. And what they do, they blame the previous incumbent for the mess that they find themselves in when they take over, like this £22 billion black hole. In other words, the system we have no longer works, it no longer functions, it isn't fit for purpose. We need something else. I know what I'd like to see further down the line, and you know, I did a video on this trying to ask you what you thought, what you believed yesterday, just to try and provoke a bit of conversation, but I'm big enough to realise that won't happen immediately. So what do people do? They look for an alternative within the system, they look for an answer, and that answer, they felt, is reform, as in the Reform Party, duly led by Nigel Farage, Richard Tice and co, we shall say. I've seen a few disturbing things over the last couple of days. Before you all come out and start having a go at me for trying to divide and everything else, I don't really need to. There's other things that are doing that quite spectacularly. I just want to talk about it. I want you to talk about it. Let's start with Paul Thorpe. Paul Thorpe released a video this morning. I'll leave a link to it in the description, where he quite openly says he's very concerned about reform. He's very concerned about reform with, you know, some of the things they're saying, or rather not saying, and particularly pointing a finger at the leadership, saying, are you really not going to step up to the plate and lead through this? Are you really not going to comment about things you should have done, show your support for stuff? You know, he didn't say it that way exactly. That's my way of expressing, you know, what I got from that video. Particularly Peter Lynch, completely silent. Richard Tice kind of mentioned it in passing, but you look at the uproar that was caused a couple of days ago. Tommy Robinson, another thing, they've made their stance perfectly clear on that. Anne Widdecombe, what she said about Peter Lynch was quite deplorable, and I had a conversation with a member of Reform this morning, and I said, quote and unquote, what the fuck are they playing at? I quite meant that. What the fuck are they playing at? I'm a member of the same WhatsApp groups that Paul Thorpe is, and all of this, quite frankly, is going down like a brick in a swimming pool. Now, what concerns me is another thing that's heavily trending on social media this morning. It's an invite that Farage has put out to members of the Conservative Party, local county councillors, local Conservative county councillors. He's saying, come and defect to reform. We're coming into the local council elections next year. We're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it, and we want you to take the opportunity we're giving you to save your arse, because we're coming for you, we're coming for your seat, and it's going to be no holes barred. Now let's look at that thing about reform. Now reform should mean just that. Reform should mean reform of a process, reform of a system that doesn't work, or just plain reform. There's a lot of power in that word. It's not just some word that you label a political party with. Now, I've said this all along. I disagree with importing you know, that brand of conservatism into the Reform Party, whether it be at government level or local council level. It's simply not good enough. The problem we've had generations of individuals who, let's face it, are used to the infighting, the political scrapping. It happens at both levels, I've seen it, and they don't know any other way. They're they're put there and they quickly succumb to the idea of party politics, start infighting and blame the other for all the faults. Nothing ever gets done. They forget the fact that they're there to represent the people. Now, if you send an invite out to, 1,300 councillors, Tory councillors at the moment, saying, come join us, you're importing all of that rot into Reform Party. You know, if there is any councillor out there that saw that invite, thought, okay, Nigel, yep, surely they should have looked into their own conscience. Surely they should have realised that the party they represent is no longer fit for purpose. I mean, let's face it, the Tories are dead. I couldn't give a damn who gets elected their leader, they're finished. They should see it for what it is and make that decision for themselves. This whole invite thing is nothing more than a cheap political stunt in the press. It's literally just a piece to draw attention to the cause. But does it do it damage? In an ideal world, what you need is leaders, business people, people from the communities that have an idea and go in there and they've got the best interests of everybody at heart and they want to act like that accordingly. Not somebody who wants to jump ship just to save their seat and the prestige that comes with it. They need to do it themselves. Other than that, anything that's been tainted by the Tories, anything that's been tainted by Labour, Lib Dems, anything to do with that broken, tired establishment needs to end at the next election, at the next opportunity. That's the only way things will start to change. You can do that. But those candidates have to be fresh individuals, fresh ideas, fresh minds. They can't bring any of that Tory baggage with them. They've got to be completely outside the system, or in my view, this is never going to work. I'll give you an example. When I attended a Reform meeting, I was actually asked if I wanted to throw my name into the ring. I said no, because I operate better where I am. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I can just bring attention to when they get it wrong. There are a series of unfortunate events that have cropped up in the news which give people pause and think, hang on, what's he doing? What's the game here? What are you really playing at? And then the media take it and run with it and make it look pretty appalling. And it's a worrying time at the moment. But let's just say this: if Reform are made to look bad, if the media twists it and runs with it, people are going to go back to their fallback position of voting for one of the big two, because that's the belief that is instilled in everybody. That's what they think. They have no other choice. Do you really want another generation of that? I know I don't. So I hope those councillors that get this email, if they get it, really think about their position and really think, they should have considered these options before this was even mentioned in the press. And we need some integrity in the system, not some cheap publicity stunt. We need trust back. That's a big word, isn't it? Anyway, I'll leave you with my thoughts. Tell me yours in the comments. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That helps the YouTube algorithm spread my nonsense here, there and everywhere. Share me on your social media. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.